Hey, what's up guys, Snowy Minotaur here. It is time once again for me to discuss Team Rumble, and this is a very different video because obviously you can tell from the title and the thumbnail of the video, this game mode has actually gotten better. I am shocked to even say that. So for those who don't know and who are new to this channel, I usually do this series called Snowy Minotaur versus Team Rumble, which has been going on for about 2 years now, to where I've been making videos discussing the big problems with the game mode that have been happening since Chapter 2 Season 7, and I can tell you this, ever since those really bad changes that happened during that season, just about 2 years ago now, the game mode has since then become even worse. And it's shocking to me that it took them this long to actually kind of make this game mode fun again. I'm going to talk about the changes that they did before this season, as there actually was a few changes that they decided to do. The first big change actually had to do with supply drops, and if you don't know, they actually brought back unvaulted weapons into supply drops. They actually did it this season, but last season they actually removed them out of nowhere. I made a short about this a little while ago, so if you want to go check that out, it's in the top right hand corner, just to show proof that I'm not lying here, because I did see this in game and I could not even believe it. I believe the only two weapons you could actually get at that time after they made this really terrible change in supply drops was, I believe, heavy snipers and combat shotguns. Please don't quote me on that. I don't know about anything else. I know you could have only gotten grenades, but again, grenades out of a supply drop is absolutely criminal. And they also decided to do some really interesting changes as well to the whole game itself, to where basically mats got nerfed a lot in the last season, to where the max cap actually went from 999 to 500, and it actually kind of works really well in Team Rumble. This was a change that they did last season, and I think it works pretty well, because one of my biggest complaints with Team Rumble was that you were more or less looting than actually fighting other players in that game mode. And when this change actually got implemented, I see myself actually fighting more players now and not actually like really heavily relying on getting a bunch of mats, because getting mats now is a lot easier in the game, which is really good. And then another change that they decided to do was with the vaults. Last season they actually had the vaults, but you couldn't actually get into them. Well, they decided to actually make it so that you can actually use 2 keys to actually open up vaults. I do believe it's at Brutal and at Mega City. Those two, I do know those work. I don't know about the one in Shattered Slabs. I'm pretty sure it does as well, but it basically reminds me a lot of Chapter 3 Season 4 in the way that you basically open up vaults by having keys, and a certain amount of keys that you have, the much bigger you can actually open up a vault of certain sizes, and they actually give off a lot more loot, which is really good. So let's talk about what they did this time around, because I'm shocked. There actually are some pretty good changes that they actually did in here. There are some bad things still about this game mode, but I feel like the good more or less outweighs the bad here. And the first big thing, which you probably saw at the beginning of this video and or of the gameplay, is they actually decided to change up the loadout. And as you can see from the screenshot here, it is the heavy assault rifle, and yes, that is a green pump shotgun. And I don't know why they chose these two guns specifically, but I have a small theory here, and that is they probably might bring these guns back later on this season. Now, don't quote me on that, because I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But the reason why I'm saying this here is because back in Chapter 4 Season 1, the shotgun that they had in your inventory was the heavy shotgun, and at that time it actually wasn't in the game or in the loot pool at all, in chests or floor loot, anywhere like that, and they decided to bring it back during that season. Now again, I don't know if this will actually happen or not, but this would be really exciting news if this is the case here. But if it's not, if you want to use the pump shotgun in the Battle Royale map right now, play Team Rumble, go try it out. You can't upgrade it unfortunately, but I do believe you can get the epic and legendary pumps out of supply drops. But again, it is very random, because they are random unvaulted weapons implemented into the supply drops now ever since they got removed from Battle Royale from last season. And also another big positive here is that pretty much everything that is new about this season is in here. Besides, I think 2 things, and I think that's the new vault locations and I believe Loot Island. Those are the only 2 things that are not in this game mode, and I believe combat caches as well, which I think would actually be a pretty good idea to add them in here. But I believe everything else is in here. I think the animals are in here, if I'm not mistaken. I think, yeah, you can ride raptors, which is cool. pretty much all the new weapons are in here besides the mythics, and that's pretty much it. With all the other changes that I actually explained here, to where you can actually get unvaulted weapons, the mats being fixed, which is pretty good, and also some of the weapons that you can get out of here, especially with the return of the pump shotgun, is pretty interesting. I do really like that, and just the game mode ever since this season started became so fun. Sure, you're gonna have some of those people that are going to be sweating their ass off in here, but at this point, it is what it is. You're gonna have to deal with those people, which I do like challenge in this game mode at the very least, but again, it is quite annoying to go up against people who are taking this game mode way too seriously. But as I've explained probably in other videos, there are still pretty big problems with this game mode, which I still hope that they get addressed here. Like, for example, the uncommon weapons being floor loot and chest spawns. This I can actually kind of understand right now at the moment, because again, the heavy assault rifle and the pump shotgun are not in the loot pool currently right now. Again, I don't know if they're going to come back, so it makes sense for them to be there. But if it was weapons that are already, in the loot pool right now that we currently have, I would be pretty mad about this, because it just clogs up the loot pool, and it's very odd. It's very odd. I do still wish that we were at blue and better weapons, because at the very least with that, it was actually pretty balanced, and they actually gave off a good advantage, and just it just makes the game mode balanced in the way of, and the type of aspect which I'm trying to say here. Another big problem is no NPCs. I still think NPCs should be in Team Rumble. I don't see the harm with having them in here, because here's the thing: if they can re-enable them back in Chapter 3 Season 3, then they can surely bring them back at any point, but I don't know the exact reason as of why this is the case, on why they haven't brought them back. But again, I have no idea why they're not in here. Also, combat caches. I do think these would actually be a pretty good idea to actually be in here, because they're more or less used for, I guess, group play, and it would actually be pretty good, especially because of the whole heal situation, to where there's pretty much almost no extremely good heals right now in Fortnite. And with the slurp juice being in here, which I really hope they actually consider bringing the slurp juice into Team Rumble, it would be a really good idea for them to bring this in some way, shape, or form, because I don't see the harm in them bringing in this item to where you can actually also get like augments that give off siphon during this season. So I don't see the harm in them bringing in this healing item back. But I think the biggest problem right now with Team Rumble is the storm. I feel like the storm is really bad still, and it mostly has to do to when you jump out of the battle bus. As soon as all the battle buses basically go off the map, the storm instantly starts closing in after like 2.5 minutes, which is just absolutely terrible. I don't like how I get where they're coming from, to where they want to make this game mode fast paced, but this honestly makes it really difficult for people to actually loot still. And even with these changes, it definitely improved that type of aspect. But again, for people doing challenges and just trying to take their time a little bit to try and get good guns in this game mode, it's definitely a really big negative still, in my personal opinion. So overall, Team Rumble is actually improved, believe it or not, this season. Sure, there's still some stuff in here which are not in this game mode right now, but I am pretty happy with some of the changes that they have done so far. I am very impressed. Like, GG's Epic, you actually made some good changes. I really hope that they actually make some really good changes again, just like how they did with this season. I hope they implement some stuff from BR into Team Rumble. Let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on Team Rumble this season? Let me know down below in the comment section. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did happen to enjoy this video, consider subscribing to the channel, turn notification bell so you don't miss any more new videos from me, as I do upload weekly. Drop a like on the video if you did happen to enjoy this video. Also, don't forget to check out my Twitter at SnootyMantar on Twitter if you want to go follow me. Thank you all so much for watching. I love every single one of you. Remember, everyone, it's always good to take chances.